Well, hello, and a very warm welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to bring you a handful of the very best, most reliable used cars available on the market now. We'll start at £2,000 and we'll work our way up to £5,000. So as has become customary, get your brew at the ready, let's have a bit of a browse. Right, and let's get fired straight in, shall we? Well, one thing before we do, shameless plug, I know, but it might be useful for you. I do now offer one-on-one calls, so if you'd like something a little bit more tailored to you, tailored to what you're buying, you'll find a link in my description below where you can book out 30 minutes of my time, and I'd be more than happy to help you pick a good car. Right, let's now get fired in. No criteria here, we are not discriminating against anything. £2,000 budget, any make, any model, completely welcome. And it hits us right off the bat with a Peugeot 207 with a 1.4 petrol engine. That is going to be the TU6 engine, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think I've ever seen one of these engines without a leak. Add into that the electrical gremlins that we tend to get with older French cars, and no, we'll find better than that. Peugeot 3008, big car, 2 litre HDI. I've got deja vu. This has been for sale for a long time because I think we've featured this already in a similar video to this one. Again, these engines had a bit of an appetite for turbos. You could get blockages in the oil system. Oil starvation leads to turbo problems. No, let's leave it out. Next, a Renault Scenic. You can spot the national trend here, can't you? French cars and their electrical problems, especially at this end of the budget. Some French cars are good, don't come for me in the comments. Renault Scenic, these are quite rare now. You don't tend to see them, do you? Think about it, when's the last time you've seen a Renault Scenic of that era on the roads? You just don't see them. Reason for that is they're a bit rubbish. They were alright when they were brand new, but as they've aged like a mouldy bit of cheese, quite honestly. Not well at all. The electrical gremlins have taken hold and put most of them off the road. So no, avoid that. It's amazing that one's got to over 100,000 miles. And what's that, 14 years old? Just don't go there. Next, a sweet little Suzuki Alto. Right, now we're talking. Let's get a closer look at that. Red, looks the part, 87,000 miles. Don't let us down description. Let's see. Looks alright. Service history, 8 stamps. Not exactly full, but it's alright. Here's one of the problems you're going to be up against buying a car at this price point. People tend not to value cheap cars too much. Whoever's owned it before, it's likely just been an A to B transport. They've probably not serviced it when they should. They haven't taken as good care of it as they should. So this is going to be a problem at this price point. That's why you need to make sure you do buy something that's quite robust and resilient to lack of servicing and that sort of thing. And this is the little 1 litre Suzuki Alto. Good little cars. It's the criteria that we want. Keep it simple, cheap to buy, cheap to run, dirt cheap to fix if things do go wrong. Yes. Get that on the short list, 100%. Let's try and keep this hot streak running. It's not a hot streak, is it? It's a French streak. Citroen C3, right, 1.6 HDI. The old 1.6 HDIs, anyone remember those? Those were terrible. They were really bad. They changed them in 2011, right at the changeover point was right as this car was released. That has probably got the newer engine in it. You'll be able to tell by the brake horsepower. So the older 1.6 HDI, the one that got the name in the trade of, was it the Doom of Diesel or the Diesel of Doom? One of the two. Either way, not exactly a great nickname for an engine. The old one was a 16-valve engine. The one they replaced it with, believe it or not, is an 8-valve engine. So there's another way that you can tell them apart. Basically, 2011 on should have the newer engine. It did get a good deal better, but turbo problems are still quite prevalent with them. So it's a no on this one. It's a double no on the older than 2011. Sorry about that. Let's move on. Mini Cooper, okay, get a load of this, 90,000 miles, 2007, it's quite cheap for what it is, don't you think? Look at this, folks, this fills me with dread. See when you see a dealership and they're saying things in the subtitle, no less, not even the description, the subtitle on AutoTrader, saying things like part exchange vehicle or trade to clear, you just know something's going to Something's going to be up with it. Let's take a closer look. So Mini Cooper, 90,000 miles. We have attached the photos of the diagnostic report. Called it. You'd think I'd been in here before. I haven't. Let's see, where's the diagnostic report? We've come this far, huh? Differential pressure, intake manifold. It's probably a PCV valve, I would think. I'd start there. Either way, we don't want to be buying a problem car, so let's cast that aside. This is not a fault-finding video. And move on to the fantastic and rare Fiat Cubo. It's not all that fantastic. 1.3 multi-jet. There were some problems with these. I'm trying to remember if it was the timing chain or the tensioner. It's immaterial. I think it was the tensioner on these that could cause problems. Either way, you had to dig deep into that engine, rip that old chain out, replace that. The tensioners, ugh, it's just money, especially on 90,000 miles now. If it's not been done, I bet that chain's making a little bit of noise. Add to that the odd injector problem. No. Let's move on. Nissan Note 1.4, 75,000 miles, 2007. We could be onto something here, folks. Let's take a closer look. Did it open? It did. Right, so full service history apparently. I'm dubious about that. 3 months warranty. 1 year fresh MOT can also be handed if needed. Yes, you need an MOT. So taking that with a year MOT, you're going to get your 3 month warranty. Fundamentally, quite a reliable little car. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to be as reliable as something like a Honda Jazz, but on a £2,000 budget, we're not going to find one of those. You used to be able to, not anymore. So that, again, let's keep it on the short list. I would be slightly hesitant because of corrosion and rust and such, but if you stick around in this video, I'll show you how we can check for that a little bit later on. Next, a Hyundai Getz, the 1.4. Gets me in about that. Sorry. 107,000 miles. It's a 2007. It's in granny blue, same colour as you'll get a Jazz in. That must count for something. Probably not had the most mechanically sympathetic life, but tough enough to put up with it. And you know what? The other thing on these little Hyundais, you can fix them super cheap as well. Like the parts prices are so much less, probably about half of what you'd pay for parts on, I don't know, a Volkswagen Up or a Fiat 500. At 107,000 miles and that age, it certainly should have had a timing belt changed at this point. If it hasn't, or if it was done a long time ago, make sure you bring that into the bargain. Get a bit off the purchase price. Oh, jeez, here we go again. Another Mini, 1.6. Okay, this one's a bit leggier, 128,000 miles. But it's a 2011, it's quite new. What's going on with cheap, slightly sketchy seeming Minis? Let's see. Oh no, I'm not even going there. Part X to clear, £20 road tax, no description about the car. Let's just not even go there, folks. Absolute pet peeve of mine. It gives you no confidence in purchasing that car or even picking up the phone, does it? Right, what we got next? Peugeot 107, a French car that you absolutely would want to buy, subject to it being okay and the appropriate checks and so on. Great little cars. This, the 107, the Citroen C1 and the Toyota Aygo. I've spoke about them before. If you're on a budget, particularly when it's a couple of £1,000s, absolutely a good bet. It's a bit like that little Suzuki Alto we looked at. Really, really simple, cheap to run, cheap to buy, cheap to fix. Simplicity wins on this budget, so absolutely. If your pride can handle driving around in what is essentially a purple or pink little city car, your wallet will thank you. Let's see what else we've got before we move on to a higher budget here. Little Ford Fiesta, the 1.4. Pretty good bet there. That was before they came out with the 1 litre EcoBoost nonsense. These were good little cars. It is getting on a little bit now. 2006. Again, you want to be careful of corrosion, as you would with, there's a Honda Civic. Again, even on 120,000 miles, these things are so mechanically robust that honestly, you don't even need to worry about it. What you do need to worry about though is the chassis rust, the rust that's on the body, the corrosion that's on the body. So let me show you how I would go about checking that. So let's get in, and first thing we want to do is grab the plate. There it is, we can just about see it. And what you want to do is head to vehicle score, W55 CTE. And if you get on this site, what you want to do is scroll down. It gives you all the vehicle's history, all its MOT history, and it's prudent to check on any used car, especially one that is going to be a bit older. Right, let's have a look. So right away, repair covered and under seal. Now under seal, obviously that could be quite bad for covering up rust, corrosion, that kind of thing. Sure enough, if we click into the last fail, yeah, near side rear integral body structure corroded, rear subframe corroded. The subframe's okay, that can be swapped out, but the body means it's been welded now. Unless it's a really cheap car, I'd probably look elsewhere. Same criteria, only this time, £5,000 budget, big spender. Ford B-Max, what do you think of those? 48,000 miles, 2013. I tell you what, these cars got a bit of stick when they were newer because of those. It's got sliding doors on the back. Everyone thought they were going to be crazy practical. Turns out they were really quite heavy to open and close. A lot of these cars, as you might expect, went out via the Motability schemes. A lot came back via the Motability schemes because the doors were too bloody heavy. Now, these are a bit of a bargain, I think, at the minute. £5,000 for a low mileage one. If you look at the other stuff that's available on this money, as we're about to do, I think you'll find it's quite a bargain. And I think I know why that's happening. If you Google these cars, you're going to find tons of horror stories about problematic gearboxes. Now, 99% of those gearboxes that are problematic, people are going to be talking about that awful automatic power shift gearbox that Ford were fitting in this era. They fitted them to these, they fitted them to the Cougars. They were just rubbish. Plastic retainers inside a gearbox. I mean, they just fatigue and break off eventually. I'd seen them broken, 20, 30,000 miles coming in, having to get gearboxes stripped out, all cleared out. Horrible, woeful things. Now, I believe this car is a manual. Let's just confirm. So, yeah, manual. And it is indeed a manual. Sometimes it lists it as a manual and it isn't a manual. There can be the occasional problem on the manual gearbox as well. It's nowhere near as severe as the problems on the automatic power shift, but still worth being aware of. I said 99% of problems related to the automatic. 1% doesn't. 1% relates to this. So it's to do with the master cylinder. This is a problem that's becoming more prevalent now that these cars are getting a little bit older. The symptom is the gear stick jams in gear. You're not able to get it back out. Can be a bit dangerous, to be honest. You need to pull up, turn the car off, turn it back on, maybe pump the clutch a couple times, and then you'll find it will pop out of gear. That is very telling of a master cylinder which is starting to let go and needing swapped out. Now, they can be changed. It's not the world's worst job. And then the rest of the car is fundamentally reliable. Now, that's why I think these have become a bit of a bargain, because people are a bit frightened of them. But as I say, fundamentally, it's quite a good car. Next, a C3 Picasso, another 1.6. No, if I had to buy a bigger car, quite honestly, I'd be looking at something like an older Honda CR-V, maybe even that B-Max that we spoke about just a moment ago. Just make sure that the gear stick isn't sticking in gear when you do take it on a test drive. I think I'd rather go for that instead. Toyota Prius, no, 140,000 miles, 11 years old. I would not get involved with a lithium hybrid battery at this point. I just wouldn't. Mercedes-Benz C220. I mean, here you go. Here's a real contender. If what you're looking for is quite a premium car, you could think about this. Do bear in mind, however, it's sort of the opposite to what we spoke about with the Hyundai Getz. You are going to pay more for parts prices, of course, being a German brand, being a Mercedes. But that 2.1 diesel engine, that's the one that you'll find in taxis all around the world with 300,000-400,000 kilometres on the clock. You are going to get the occasional leak. You're going to get the occasional problem. But fundamentally, a very, very reliable engine. Just bear in mind you're going to pay more for parts. We'll keep that on the short list. Now, on note of taxi C-classes, You don't want to go buying one of these, then later finding out that it has indeed been used as a taxi. You want to go in there knowing exactly how many people have been sick in the back seat. So the other thing that the vehicle score check offers is an HPI check. Now this is going to tell you if that car's ever been used as a taxi, if it's got any outstanding finance, if it's ever been an insurance write-off, basically all the stuff that you're going to want to know before you part with your hard-earned cash. You can find it on this HPI check. It's going to cost you the equivalent to what is nowadays a couple of cups of coffee. I can help you with that though. In my description below, you'll find a discount code for 20% off. So don't say I'm not good to you. Onwards. Next we got a 197 Clio. It's probably not what you're looking for. If you don't know what that is, it's definitely not what you're looking for. Great little cars, brilliant drivers' cars. However, probably not what you're looking for is a relatively thirsty, slightly impractical hatch. So we'll move on by that. A Fiat 500, it's got the 1.2 engine, not the 0.9. The 0.9 is a little bit more complex, by the way, that twin-air engine. It's got a little turbo on it. Utterly characterful, though. Brilliant. Thoroughly Italian. I mean, these little Fiats, that 1.2, it's all right. I mean, radiator fans can fall to bits. The door handles might drop off. All these little niggly things, you're going to find them in an aging Fiat 500. No big show-stopping problems. I'm not saying avoid them. All I'm saying is get ready for a bit of Italian flair if you do choose to go that way. Next, Ford Fiesta 1 litre EcoBoost. Shall we all say this in time? No, we don't buy EcoBoosts. Never go near a 1 litre EcoBoost. Doesn't matter if it's in a B-Max, a Fiesta, a Focus. Don't do it, folks, especially a slightly older one. Honda Civic 2 litre, again, that's like the 197. You're either going to want that or you aren't. No one just wakes up one day and is talked, well, maybe they are, talked round to a 8,500 RPM screaming Civic. More likely you're going to be awoken by an 8,500 RPM Civic. Everyone seems to have one in their street. But no, you're probably not wanting one of these. It's quite a specialist thing. Next, little Peugeot 108, fantastic, 1 litre. Again, not exactly a motorway mile muncher, but if all you're looking for is a practical, reliable, fuel-efficient little car, the 1 litre 108 is going to be right on the money for you there. That is the same Fiat 500. Right, let's try and get through a few more here. BMW 1 Series, the 1.6, 118. So this was known as the Prince engine. It's a bit more Prince Andrew than Prince William, put it that way. Slightly dodgy past. The engine as well. Timing chain problems, so no, I'd just avoid it. I can't recommend that with a clean conscience. Peugeot RCZ, it's the 1.6. That was quite, from memory, these were really bad for carbon build-up. And again, quite a specialised car. You're probably just going to want one of them or you're not. Personally, if I was looking for something a bit sporty like that is, but impractical, I'd probably be buying a Nissan 370Z, if I'm honest. Next up, Citroen C1. It's the 1.2 PureTech. What do we think? No. Big fat no to that one. Just like the 1 litre EcoBoost that you're going to find in Fiestas and Focuses, Fords. This is Citroen and Peugeot and Vauxhall's equivalent, the 1.2 PureTech. Absolutely not. Wet belt equipped. Nothing but problems await you buying one of those. Fiat 500, 1.2. Again, already spoke about that. Good little cars. You're going to get niggly problems. Italian flair, we'll call it. Right, what else we got? Ford S-Max and a Ford Mondeo. We can kind of group those together, given that they've got the same engine. 2 litre TDCi. Fantastic engine. Ford knew they had a big sales rep following, and they didn't disappoint them. Great motorway mile munching engine. Pretty economical for what it is. Pretty torquey, so it's quite nice to drive. Great. And even although these have got couple of miles on them, this one's 120, that one's 130, so they're a little over 100,000 miles. I guarantee you that engine has got a lot left in the tank, left to give. Good cars, solid bet those. Peugeot 208, 1.2 PureTech. No, absolutely not. And let's finish up with this, a Volkswagen Tiguan. So the 2 litre TDI, again, couple of miles on it. However, for these, it's not an awful lot. It's going to have a lot of life left in it yet at 120 or so K. And it's 2013, it's before the 2015 introduction of AdBlue and additional emission systems. So that, again, would be a solid bet, even with a couple of miles on the clock. And there we have it. I do hope you found this video insightful. If you'd like to see this style of video for a specific type of car, city cars, SUVs, whatever it happens to be, drop it in the comments below and I'll be sure to include that in the future. But for now, please do hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. I'll see you for the next one.